this video will be on adding and subtracting fractions. So we'll start with some fifths. So I'm going to write some fifths here, and I'm going to add to that a different number of fifths. So let's have 1/5 add 2/5, and I know my answer is going to be in fifths as well. So I've got 1/5 there, 2/5, and my answer should also be in fifths. So I'm going to write the 5 in the denominator place. So now that's going to be 1/5 add 2/5 is 3/5. So that's my answer for that one. Let's try another one. This time we'll do quarters. Add some more quarters. So we'll do 1/4 add another quarter, and this is going to be in quarters, so I can write that there. So 1/4 add another quarter would be 2/4. Now I know that 2/4 simplifies to a half, so I'm going to write that as well. So my answer is actually a half. So I've got 1/4 add another quarter is equal to a half. But I wrote 2/4 first, and then that simplified to a half. Well, that's fine. Let's try subtraction. So let's use eighths this time. And I'm going to take away a different number of eighths. So we'll have 5/8 take away 3/8. So again, this time my answer is going to be in eighths. I know that already. So 5/8 take away 3/8 is going to leave me with 2/8. And this also simplifies, and it simplifies to 1/4. So 2/8 is equal to 1/4. So that's my answer. 5/8 take away 3/8 is equal to 1/4. Now let's make it a little bit harder. Let's have 5/8 again, and I'm going to add to that quarters, so 1/4. So 5/8 add 1/4. Now this is a little bit more tricky to add. I know that 5/8 is different from quarters, so I've got eighths and I've got quarters, and this is actually quite tricky to add. Now I know that 1/4 is actually 2/8 because I had this in my last calculation. So 1/4 is actually the same as 2/8. Now if I was to write this 1/4 as 2/8 because I know it's the same, then I can actually add it to the 5/8. So I'm just going to do that here. So this is actually equal to two fractions in eighths. So I've got 5/8. So that's just coming from here. I've got 5/8, and I'm just going to write it again. Now this 1/4, I know it's 2/8, so I'm going to write this as 2/8. Now I can add them, and I know my answer is going to be in eighths. So 5/8 add 2/8 is equal to 7/8. So that's my answer. Now we started with 5/8 add 1/4, and our answer is 7/8. Very difficult to see how it will come from just this bit. So we need to understand that we need to have the denominators to be the same so that we can add them, because then we had 5/8 add 2/8, and that made 7/8. Now let's try something a little bit harder than this. Let's have thirds and fifths. So let's add 1/3 to 2/5. Now this one's going to be really hard to add because we've got 1/3 and I've got 2/5 here, and they are very different fractions and they're going to be very difficult to add. Now I know that 1/3 has equivalent fractions, and I also know that 2/5 has equivalent fractions. Now if like this one I can have them written in the same denominator, that's going to help me add them. So I'm just going to write some equivalent fractions to a third. So I know that 1/3 is equal to 2/6. It's also equal to 3/9. It's also equal to a certain number of 12. So it's going to be 4/12. And the next one is going to be in 15. So it's going to be 5/15. And you can carry on like this. Now one thing you'll notice is that the 1/3, this is simplified. It doesn't simplify any more than that. And when you have that, then the denominator will always go up in the multiples of the 3 here. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And the next one will be 18, and so on. Now we're going to do the same thing with the fifths. So we've got 2/5, and again this time this 2/5, this is actually simplified. It doesn't simplify any further than that. So the next fraction that is equivalent to would come in tenths, and it will be 4/10, because I know that 5 times 2 gave me 10, so 2 times 2 will have to give me 4. The next one will be in 15ths, and this would be 6/15. The next one would be in 20ths, and this will be 8/20, and you can carry on. Now you can see that I know that 1/3 is equal to all of these fractions, and 2/5 is equal to all of these fractions, and I can write more as well. Now I can see that I've got 5/15 here and I've got 6/15 here. Now if I know 1/3 is equal to 5/15, so this 1/3 is equal to 5/15, and I know that 2/5 is equal to 6/15, so this 2/5 is equal to 6/15, I can rewrite this calculation, and then that might actually help me add it. So I'm just going to write this again. So I know that 1/3 is equal to 5/15, so let's use that. So I've got 15ths here, and I've got 5/15 for 1/3, and I'm going to add to that. I need to add 2/5, but I know 2/5 has lots of equivalent fractions, and I'm going to choose this one. So 6/15. So 6/15. So 5/15 adds 6/15. I know my answer is going to be in 15ths, and my answer is going to be 11/15. So what we've done is we've added 1/3 to 2/5, and we did that by writing some equivalent fractions and for 1/3, and then we wrote some equivalent fractions to 2/5, and then we chose the ones where the denominator was the same. So we had 5/15 add 6/15, and I know that that's 11/15. That's not hard to add. So it started with this: 1/3 add 2/5 is equal to 11/15. It's very difficult to see how from 1/3 and add to that 2/5 you're going to get these numbers, 11/15. But this is the method that you can use to try and get this answer. Now I'm going to give you some questions for you to do, to bring to the lesson. So I'll write them here. Question 1, you can do, let's add some sevenths. Let's do 2/7 add 3/7. Question 2, let's do another add. We'll do 3/8 add, let's have 1/4. Let's do a subtraction here. Let's do some tenths, subtract that by some fifths. So let's have 7/10, take away, let's have 2/5 here. These ones are going to get harder now, so let's have another add, and this time we're going to have some fifths and some quarters. So let's add 2/5 to 1/4. Question 5, let's do another subtraction. We'll have some 12ths, take away some 8ths. So let's have maybe 11/12, take away 3/8. And one more question. Now this one's going to give a slightly different answer. I'm going to choose 8ths again and some 6, and we're going to add 7/8 to 5/6. This one's going to give a slightly different kind of answer, and I want to see what you do with that. So answer these questions. So you've got 1 to 6 here. Answer all of these questions and bring this to the next lesson.